Welcome back to another episode of It's a Man's World podcast. Today I am in Dubai, which is very exciting. Last time I think I done the podcast, I was at home, and then maybe before that it was when I was in America. So it's so nice to have a new season, some fresh episodes, and a very different episode as well today. I know a lot of the girls that are in my mentorship at the minute will 100% benefit from this, and anyone at the minute with, I suppose, money in general is going to take a lot of inspiration, and also like information that I never knew, that I would love for the podcast to be able to share this. And if I had known these things maybe a little bit earlier, I would have been able to maybe do an episode like this myself. But I have Ryan with me here today, and we've been working together like 2.5 years now, which is crazy. So by. If you want to give them a little intro into who you are and how we even met, maybe.
Yeah, sure. So firstly, my name's Ryan Moore. I'm a qualified financial advisor. I've been in the industry for wealth management for like 14 years now. Been in banking and finance for pretty much 20 years. On my social media, brand myself as a wealth coach, making myself relatable. I work with a lot of online coaches, of course. And the wealth coaching service is a little bit more of a more modern day online twist to your typical old school financial advice. Myself and you, we actually met way before you even become a client, right? In Dubai.
It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But working with online coaches, I believe you'd just been referred on to me through JJ, it might have been.
Could have been JJ or Ben or one of them, yeah.
Yeah, obviously when I first started working with online coaches, maybe I had about 10 or 15 coaches at the time. And, we obviously had our meetings, and, lo and behold, we've taken you on as a client. And I mean, obviously I can say, or you can say, but things have been going really, really well, for my own business, but also for yourself in terms of the wealth creation journey. You're switched on now, very consistent in what we're doing, and things are going well, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's something that, in case you're wondering like what it is like when you're making money that maybe you have never made before, and you're in a different position, you don't really know what to do with it. And like, you're kind of like, this is great building up in your account. And I remember when we had our call, you were like what are you doing with it? And I was kind of like, well, like, you think you're saving it, but you're nearly, it's not going anywhere. Like, the money is literally dead sitting there, and you think and this is what a lot of people think, they're rich by their bank account going up, but it's the total opposite.
True, yeah. I mean, money in the bank account, apart from like your emergency money that you need for today and tomorrow, is just degrading because of inflation. And again, if you just think about money these days, it's just numbers on a screen. So, if I can get my clients to part with those numbers on a screen that's in a bank account and look at the numbers on a screen that's in an investment account, at least the numbers on the screen on the investment account are increasing and appreciating, but it still belongs to you, right? And again, it's just numbers on the screen. So, a lot of clients, I mean, similar to yourself, they come to me with a problem, but it's a nice problem to have. They're earning more money than they were. They've got money in savings now, and it's okay. Well, what do I do with this to invest the money to make it grow? Without falling into any pitfalls or any traps or any scams, and actually losing money. Because again, people have this maybe skeptical mindset of, if I invest, is it going to go well? Is it going to go wrong? But, a lot of the work that we do is just putting clients' money into assets, just standard, normal assets that have been appreciating for decades and decades and decades. And the strategy of investing month after month after month, which is, unit cost averaging, it's quite a low risk way of investing that way. And, given time, you're almost pretty certain that things are going to rise and you're going to make money. And truth be told, as you know, you've seen it work, and you've seen it take plan, and you've seen it, you've implemented it, and, I'm not going to disclose numbers, but the action that you've taken has obviously led into profits, and you've made some good money now, so 100%. Which is awesome, and I get a lot of client satisfaction out of that.
Yeah, you see it after a while. At the start, you're kind of like, oh God, like you feel like you're putting it there, but it's like you have to think of the long term. And that was 100%. Something you had said to me, like, think about where you'll be like when you're at this age. And I'll be honest, like, you're not going to be an online coach forever, or you're not going to be a coach forever, and that like hurts people sometimes. They're like, what, like I'm building this big thing, I'm putting a lot of money into it, but you do need to be thinking long term and down the line as well. But I actually don't know, but how did you get into this? Like, what was your...
Yeah, so I actually started in sales during my teenage years. I then moved into finance, but I actually worked in lending. So I was helping people on the opposite end of the spectrum, people that was in debt, actually get into a stronger financial position by rejigging their finances, budgeting, and then consolidating. So it was secured charges and debt management. Moving on from that, I went into banking. So Lloyds Bank, one obviously largest bank in the UK, senior personal banking manager there for a number of years. And then I moved into wealth management when I was 26 and did the journey over to the UAE at the age of 26. Left a salaried role with Lloyds to go kind of self-employed role under a network. And I actually lived in Abu Dhabi for like 9.5 years there, which is how I kind of built my client base, built my business, built my personal brand, and also built a shit ton of wealth by not paying taxes for almost a decade, which does help.
And that was something that everyone was saying, because you were kind of able to really see the difference on one side of the world and here in Dubai, like, and a lot of people don't really have that, or there is obviously different, like, what would you say, financial advisors out there?
Yeah, do you know what? Usually you have financial advisors that are regulated within your own jurisdiction, so within your own country. Myself, because I'm FCA regulated in the UK and I deal with clients that are UK residents, but I've got the experience of expatriation and being international and offshore financial planning. And then I've also got the experience of repatriation. And there's different financial advice that you need for those periods of life. Okay. And just due to my own experience, I'm well positioned to give that advice. Whereas a typical financial advisor that, say, lives in the UK or Ireland, that's never lived international, they're only going to know about their own locations, specifics, financial advice for individuals that live there. So I work a little bit different to many of the financial advisors for the fact of the experience of being international as well as domestic.
Yeah, and I like the way you're obviously a little bit more personal. I actually remember when we done our first call, you had like a presentation on like a bit about your journey as well, and it builds trust straight away from the start.
Well, look, again, for me, I mean, my own background, you know, I don't come from money myself. So I've been through the journey of creating wealth, okay, very, very successfully. And I've helped hundreds and potentially thousands of customers, clients, even customers when I've at Lloyds, get into a stronger financial position. So not only am I qualified and not only am I experienced of giving others advice to get to these milestones, I've walked the walk and I've been through the path myself. And then, you know, about being more relatable, like my target market and my niche clientele obviously is working with online coaches. It's younger clients, whereas your typical financial advisor, and even myself before everyone moved online, right, was always go for older clients that already have the wealth, and then you're just managing their wealth. Now I get a lot more job satisfaction, and I just enjoy the job role a lot more, working with a client from day one, from scratch, helping them on the journey to build wealth month after month after month after month, and just with them on the whole journey, rather than coming to take on a client that's in their 50s and 60s that's, you know, latter of the career and already have the money and you're just managing it for them.
Yeah,
it's two different job roles, but most financial advisors are typically older than I am and go for older clientele. I want to flick the script a little, you know, and do things a little bit differently, which is what makes me slightly different and why we're having a lot of success in what we do.
100%, and that's what I love, because like it's relatable. Like you're telling us we're not just another number, and like I love sometimes as well when we say, right, this is what I'm saying I'm gonna do, and you say, reminder, you said you were gonna do that. Like a lot of older people won't care. Like they'll be like, listen, like you put your money in or you don't, I don't give a shit. So I love that, like that side of things. It's like, this is where you're at, Kira. Like, now remember you said you were gonna do that, and it kind of makes me go, shit, like what has been going on in the last few months? Because you think you're earning all this, but like I was a spender.
Really?
Yeah,
we've got to
like
change your
that
mindset
money
a little.
was like, I was like, what am I doing? Like thinking about like spending all this money on cars and these Airbnbs. And I remember you were like, well, like is that what you want to be spending all your money on, and like for what reason? And it makes you think about things, because as a coach in the industry, like no one is there to step in, even a mentor, they don't touch on those things. They want your numbers to go up, but no one talks about, right, well, if they go up, where's the other side of things, and who's going to help you there? And at that point I was like, well, I'm rich, like I'm spending loads of money. I was actually spending
it's
it all.
being income rich, right? So again, different levels, there's different levels of wealth. And many people get caught in the trap of being income rich and staying income rich, which is basically a lifestyle creep. So the more you earn, the more you spend. And spenders, they need my help more than anyone. But actually savers do better with the program, because you're already mentally switched on to save and create. But we just need to change it from a saver to an investor. But going back to income rich, okay, we then help the clients move from income rich through to financial security stage. So, there's enough assets there to cover you for maybe 5 years of passive income. And then moving from security stage to financial freedom stage, that's where you've got enough assets to generate passive income for the entirety of your life. I can get my clients to that goal generally within around 10 years, usually, depends on what they're saving and what they're investing. But imagine me coming to you and saying in 10 years you're financially free, you don't need to work again. You're probably going to continue working, because why would you not? You're still young. You'd probably lose all sense of purpose if you retired at 35 or 40. So then if you continue and you don't live from the passive income and you don't spend the wealth, you're building generational wealth, and that's legacy wealth, right? Because again, if you can get to that goal by 35, 40, there's still maybe another 15 years of work in you, and you're living from your business income. So you're not spending your wealth, and the wealth is accumulating and compounding in your investment, plus the appreciation, plus the dividends, plus the rental income, plus the property. It's all just going into this wealth tank, and we're just trying to fill up the wealth tank so you've got fuel to fuel your retirement.
Love that.
Yeah, and just live from the. It's so simple when you think about it. You've got maybe 35, 40 years of a career, and then maybe 20 or 30 years of retirement.
Yeah.
So if you don't make the most of that period of career, make hay while the sun's shining, who's going to look after you for the latter stages of life, which is potentially a third of your entire life, really. Depends if you're healthy and you live a long lifestyle. Because the government's not going to bail you out, right?
Yeah.
And the government's, in the UK, government state pensions about £1,000 a month. Will it even be here in 20 or 30 years with the state of some governments and economies? So the only person that's going to look after you is yourself, and it's about making the most of the time while you're here. Again, especially if you're international, especially if you're in the UAE and there's no taxation.
Yeah.
Why would you not
utilize
that opportunity? Because it might not be around forever.
Yeah, that's my favourite. And when you break it down, it is so simple. But when you even said to me at the start, and I know people listening will go, well, like 10 years, like I'm not thinking about that from now. Like 3 years has gone already, like 5 years, like 4 years since I've been over here back and forth. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, how is that already? But then when you look at it, time goes too fast.
It goes so quickly. In my industry, for investment timeframes, 5 years is short-term financial planning. 5 years, mid-term is 10 years, long-term is 25.
Yeah.
But again, when we talk about money in bank accounts, what emergency might arise tomorrow that you need more than £30,000, €30,000, $50,000 or whatever? And it's about investing everything over and above that. So money for now is your income. Okay, that covers you on a 30-day cycle.
Yeah.
Money for soon is your emergency money. Mm-hmm. Okay, and everything else belongs to later. Yeah, so income, soon, later, and you categorize your wealth. And as long as you look at your bank account, you go, I've got income coming in to cover me for 30 days. I've got an emergency fund there to cover me for a year or so, or again, the car breaks down, or your maintenance at the house, or booking a holiday. That's my soon. Everything over and above that needs to go into the later pot. It's money that you don't really intend to spend. You want it to be with you for the entirety of your life, and that will grow. And it's that what can be invested. And even if there is volatility in the market and the markets dip, you're not going to spend it anyway. You'll wait for recovery, and recovery in markets happens 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And all you do is feed that later pot. again, so we fill up this wealth tank.
Love that. And you know what, I was just thinking there when you were saying that emotional maturity and business maturity is something that I obviously didn't have, like say 3 years ago. Like it develops and it gets obviously stronger, and as you're meeting different people as you go, like you're learning so much about like yourself and your business along the way. Like I don't think you ever will really know what the destination is or have it figured out, in my opinion.
Enjoy the journey, haven't
Exactly.
you? Who knows what the end goal is?
You're not even going to get, you might not even get there to the end goal. What is it? Because it hasn't been a definite of what this is. It's like infinite. So like I think when you look at like business maturity, like you saying 5 years, I remember when you were like showing me what it would look like with the calculations. I was like 5 years, like I want it now. Like what am I going to earn at the end of the year? And you're like, but I'm talking 3. But then you didn't even say 3. It was 5, 10, and I was like 5 and 10 years. Like what's he talking about? But we want it now, don't we?
Yeah, everybody wants things instantly, right?
Yeah.
But as long as you're making progress,
and
this is the thing, you know, it's about having the blinkers on, putting your head down, looking at your future goals and thinking, what does your future self want? The lifestyle that you want to live in the future. And I know it's all about finding a nice balance. I'm not saying, you know, don't enjoy life now. It's got to be sustainable when it comes to investing. So it's about having enough to enjoy life now, but not overindulging and not overspending and not being greedy, and having a balance of investing and living so that your future self will thank you. And again, if you think about living and thinking about health and being healthy, you know, with people maybe that's on your kind of health plans and trying to get in shape, you can only cut and diet really hard for a short period of time because it's not sustainable. And after a while, then you've got to just find a balance where you may be maintaining, but you've all your mindset's changed now, and you're now living a healthy lifestyle. Whereas with myself, and again for clients, it's just something that I've kind of picked up off coaches in terms of how you guys make your clients accountable. So you said earlier, I make my clients accountable. I'll give you a reminder what's happening this month, what's your goal this month, and I'll push you a little. Again, you know, I've not got anyone's arm up their back. It's your money, your life, you do as you please. But subconsciously people are going, oh, should I spend that? You know, would Ryan approve? Or and my investment goals, okay, I've not met the monthly goal this month. I'll just squeeze out a little bit extra to get it in there. And then I also just get the client to have this wealth building mindset. So you know, you can live a healthy lifestyle where you can live a wealth building lifestyle. Yeah. Rather than looking rich, actually being rich.
There's a big difference.
There's a big difference. And again, people get caught up in the trap here or in the UAE because there's a lot of temptation out there. You can spend money so easily in the UAE. You've got to have a lot of discipline, okay, in life to reach those wealth goals. And again, physique goals, what does it take? It takes discipline. Yeah. A lot of online coaches have that discipline, but they need to transfer it into wealth building discipline. Yeah. But again, my clientele that I'm with, the ones that are with me, we're all doing really, really well because, again, I got this off Kieran from TMP, by the way, your vibe is your tribe, right? Yeah. So when I'm doing my meetings, anyone that I take on board, I know that they're my vibe. They're a good person. I'm getting on well with them, and I know they're going to do well in the program. And that's why we're all having this success, because again, success breeds success. So when you're in a circle of winners,
you can't not win.
And I'm at the helm and I'm guiding people, I'm like, we're all winning here, you know, and I've got a really good bunch of winners in the group. They're just smashing life, smashing life goals, smashing business. And now, you know, under my wing, smashing wealth creation goals. I think, you come in, 2.5 years ago, but my very, very first online coaching client is like 4.5 years now. And lo and behold, the ones that have actually achieved the greatest heights, the ones that started me from the first 4 or 5, they're the ones that are doing the best with me currently, because I've had them under my wing for a longer period of time. Yeah. They've had a longer amount of time for compound growth. You were early in the stage as well, by the way, but there were a few girls and guys that came just slightly before. Yeah. But yeah, it's been great. You know, it's actually breathed a breath of fresh air into my own career. Yeah. Just working with you guys, you know, the coaches, because I enjoy it. I mean, even like last weekend, group of clients, we all went out and socialized together, and it's amazing.
So nice. It's a community as well, and That's the biggest part, isn't it?
You know what? I'm trying to bring that community feel into it. And with the online coaching, that's quite easy. You know, I've also got clients that are external to online coaching. And again, some of the other clients, it's a little bit more private. With financial planning and financial advice, you've got to also maintain that confidentiality and privacy. And some clients don't even want you to declare that you're a client, and they just 100%. Keep themselves to themselves. But within the online coaching space, I've got that community feel, which I love. You know, it's great.
Me too. And I actually remember it was JJ that introduced us, because he made the group chat and he said, you should look at this or chat to Ryan. And I was like, what is it? But I don't think I would have even known anything if the power of social media wasn't here. And you can look at social media as a negative, but it is the most positive influence that all of us have had, even if you don't know it. Like the products you buy online, the ads that come up, the people that you've met, the coaching programs that you've joined, like me looking at your stuff and being like, I want to see what that's all about. And like, again, you're always a little bit skeptical joining things, or even like putting especially your money into something. True. Like you're like, where's it going? Like what's going on? But you just have to trust and know that like it's going to benefit you 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line. And even now when you can see, like, I don't even check mine. Like a lot of people go in and check it nearly every day. Is it going up, down? And I'm like, you said to me, you see there was a big drop here. I wouldn't have even known that. Because I'm just like, in my head, I know it's going to go back up again, and that's like just trusting it. It's always fluctuations.
The best thing about when the markets come down is it's a gift to actually buy units or stocks at a cheaper price than you did the previous month. So every now and again, I'm actually quite proactive with clients, and I'll say, hey, markets have just dipped. If you've got extra cash on the sidelines, now is a good time to actually put more in. So we're always putting the standard monthly investment in. But when there is a gift, when there is a correction in the market, a correction in the market is like a 10% drop, by the way. A crash is like maybe 20% or more. Corrections happen probably on average once within a 12-month period. But crashes come around less frequently, maybe once every 6 to 9 years. So corrections you make the most of. They happen once every 12 to 18 months. 10% drop, double up your premium that month, or raid the savings account and drop some more in. And when the crashes come, like the biggest crash that we saw in the last 5 years was the pandemic, March 2020. Market bottoms out by about 30%. I mean, I threw a hell of a lot of money in at that particular point and caught the climb on the way back up, which is a rally. We call it a bull market cycle. And then you've got bear market cycles when the markets are going down. But the best thing about what you said there is not even looking at it, not even knowing what's going on, and just keep firing the money in, which is the dollar cost averaging method. But then when I reach out to the clients and say, now is a great time to put even more in, that's when you're actually going to make even more money on the upside and more profits. And, you know, let's say beat the market average. You know, market average is around 10%, 11%, 9% per annum. If you look at it long term, in the last 5 years, it's closer to like 20%. Now, why is that? And again, you touched on social media, you touched on the fact that it's probably never been easier to make money because you've got social media, which is almost free advertising. I mean, all right, I pay Meta a small premium for a business account, but free advertising. So there's companies these days that are just making way more money than they ever did previously because of all this social media and the internet. And those companies are now, you know, you've got $1 trillion companies. So there's so much profit being made by companies from services and products. And if you own shares of those companies, we're just piggybacking along for the ride, you know. Someone else's company, companies that you're actually buying goods and services and products of, why not hold shares in those companies and be along for the ride? So again, athleisure, Nike, or even some of these, you know, new athleisure companies, or even your designer brands like LV and Gucci, why not buy the shares? Cars, Mercedes, BMW, and then obviously you've got the big ones, you know, your Google, Apple, Meta, Amazon, Tesla.
They're always in there.
And like everyone's talking big about AI now, so like Nvidia. Huge. And I'm not saying to go and buy individual shares, by the way. So for within my portfolios, it's all ETFs and actively managed funds. So we're just tracking the broader market. But all of those big name company shares, my clients have them in their portfolios. Like for someone that's a monthly investor and younger, so more adventurous, we're probably holding more than like maybe 1,000 shares. We're just tracking the world's global equity market. So there's, you know, you name a big company, you own that share.
I seen like, Guinness and everything on at that time. Of course, Amazing. And I have a question. Like, say, for example, someone right now that's like listening and they're a coach or they're even in a different company or business and they're making a lot of money and they have, say, a certain amount sitting there at the end of the month and they're just letting it build and build and build. Like, where do they start? And if they were to ask you, like, where does that money go for them to understand? Because when you're saying it doesn't just go into one specific, like Google, Facebook.
Yep.
If they were to start, what would a summarize be? Obviously they'd have to have a call with you.
Of course. So firstly, it's about having surplus income.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've got surplus income, you're in a position where you can invest. And if you've got surplus income, like being in a calorie surplus, you're automatically going to gain.
Yeah.
So you'd be gaining, your bank balance will be increasing automatically anyway. But are you an intentional saver or are you just doing it naturally? Okay, so it's about being an intentional saver or an intentional investor, because once you've saved enough money to have an emergency fund, the next step is to invest. Yeah. Maybe you save enough money and you feel that property is a good investment and you prefer property. So you got enough money for as a deposit. You could deposit that into property. It's like planting a seed. You're going to leave it to grow as the property price increases and as the property price yields rental income. So that's one route for investing, maybe property. Property is quite illiquid, by the way, so I wouldn't advise to start there. Yeah. The stocks and shares portfolios is we open up an investment account, so it's just a glorified bank account. You put your money in and it sits in cash, okay? But this glorified bank account, which is in your name, so just like going to any bank, can I open a bank account? Well, we go to an investment platform. Can I open an investment account? Depending where you live in, depends where we open that account. So if you're a UK resident, we'd open it as a UK account. If you're an international resident, we'd open it as an offshore account in the client's name, and then you put your money in. Okay, when the money goes into that account, that then opens the doors to the investment universe and we can buy investments. So different asset classes. So when you think about assets, cash is an asset, okay? Commodities such as gold is an asset, okay? Then you've got fixed income, which are like basically loans to companies. And then you've got stocks and shares, which is, if let's say you're a director of a company, you're an 100% shareholder. Yeah. But these big companies that float on the stock markets, they offer shares to investors. So you own a smidgen, like a fractional part of the company. And then it goes into what we call like a portfolio. And if you're in a global equity portfolio, again, just give you an example, the S&P 500. Yeah. So most people have heard of the S&P 500. You could have an account, you could just buy the S&P 500, automatically that's 500 company shares. So you own the largest 500 companies in the US just by one transaction. Yeah, and look, a lot of platforms, I mean, not myself, by the way, but you could put $50 on there, 50 euros on there as just to learn and to gain experience and to see how it works. And, maybe you increase it to 100 euros, then you increase it to 500, then, you've got surplus income, so you put 1,000 in. Before you know it, you're going to see how it works and you're going to trust the process. But a simple method is just your S&P 500. Now, the S&P 500 is part of our portfolios. Sorry, excuse me. It's part of our portfolios, but it's not the be-all and end-all because it's diverse, but it's just US stocks. Right. So we want international stocks, There's good companies in Asia, there's good companies in Europe. And then the older you get, bear in mind the stock market is quite volatile and it can crash. The more money you hold in there, okay, the wealthier you become, especially when you're getting closer towards retirement, you want to de-risk. It's called selling off. Right. And then you start to add in other assets, property, gold, fixed interest. And especially when you're wanting to draw money from your portfolio as an income, you have your stocks and shares element, maybe 40, 50% in your stocks and shares, which has got the volatility, and that's the main engine of your growth. And then you draw from the other assets that are a little bit less risky. So if the market crashes, you can just wait for that to recover. You're not taking money from that element. You're taking money from the allocation that's gold or cash or fixed interest or real estate. So there's multi-asset portfolios and there's global equity portfolios. Right. Most of my younger clients are either 100% equity or a 80-20 or even a 90-10. But my older clients that are retirement or at retirement age or in retirement are more like a 60-40 or a 50-50 split. And does that come with just age and obviously money and experience? It also just comes with risk appetite. So if you think about risk appetite just generally in terms of you as an individual, when you're young, probably maybe a little bit wild and you take risks, you climb trees and maybe even drive fast and, you know, setting up a business, take the risk.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you naturally become become risk averse. You drive slower, you go out more less, and, you know, and you just become more chilled, I guess. So your portfolio has to mirror that. Right. The older you get, the less risky, the less riskier you become. So your portfolio has to match that. And that's what we do with clients is we go through risk analysis and risk appetite and, you know, profiling to then determine what's your financial goals and then what portfolio meets that client's financial goals. We have like 5 different portfolios ranging from cautious to medium risk to moderately adventurous all the way up to adventurous. And anyone that has no risk appetite, they just keep their money in the bank account.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But again, a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh yeah, I want to take risks. But their wealth doesn't add up. It's like, well, you want to take risks, but you're actually you're just leaving your money in a bank account, which is, okay, there's no risk of the money diminishing, but it's a guaranteed way of losing money because of inflation, and inflation will erode the value of your money over time. So again, let's just say inflation's 3% per annum. Well, if you've got 10 grand in there, you're losing 3% per annum if you're not making money. Before you know it, you know, years and years and years go by, the 10,000's buying power is now 8,000 because the price of goods and living has increased, but your money's stayed stagnant. And
this is what they want you to kind of not know as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when you think about it, it's like, if you hadn't got people like yourself or even online and social media, or even you kind of put your blockers on with all that because you're like, I have my money, I'm good. But like this has been like the best thing for me. Like I love seeing that. Like I think for now I'm like, right, well, if it's there and it's more and I don't need it right now because I could use it and not use that money for putting it in, but like, you know, it's going to benefit you down the line. Like I love that. I thrive off that every month.
It's good, and I'm glad it's kind of motivating you. I mean, I've seen changing in your mindset, how like determined you are now to reach these goals that we've set, and you're like, I'm going to get to that goal before the end of the year. I'm going to get to that goal by the first quarter and by the end of 2026 even. But it's just refreshing to see people take that on board and trust the process as time goes on.
You don't need instant gratification because it does nothing for you. It lasts a week or so and then you're like, right, oh, what else now? In comparison to that, you know, down the line, you're like, this is going to change my life.
Of course, and the good thing with the stocks and shares and these types of portfolios, by the way, is they're very what we call liquid. And again, opposed to property, you put your money into property, you know, once it goes in, it's hard to get the money back unless you sell the property, which can take time, or even refinancing can take time. And property is a great investment, but there's no better investment than a stocks and shares portfolio for one true feature. It's liquid. And what I mean by that is you can sell the investment within 3 days and have a wire transfer back from your investment account to your bank account within another 3 days. So within a week, you can make a withdrawal. And why is that important? You don't know what life's going to throw at you. You don't know how life's gonna move. Okay. And as you're building this wealth, all I say to my clients is, let's just stack the cash. Let's just get as much money into your investment portfolio, because money makes money. It's working, it's appreciating, and it's yielding. But most importantly, you're going to come to me at some point in life and you're going to say, hey, I need a chunk of money, whether it's to help a family member, parents, health, or even life goal. I've seen my dream home. Yeah. And again, I talk about all this with passion because this has been my journey. Like I have made a hell of a lot of money from stocks and share investing month after month after month, exactly the same methods and strategies that I give to my clients. And then I get to a point where I'm like, I've made a hell of a lot of money there. Okay, I'm going to bank the profit. Okay, but I'm not going to bank it by putting it into cash into the bank. I'm going to bank the profit by taking that money and putting it into something that I'm going to get benefit from, such as a family home. And I've been able to tick off a life goal of building my own home. I think you've seen it recently.
Amazing.
I've not posted it for a while because it's almost finished. Like it's been a 2-year project.
Gorgeous.
And then I had another life goal of owning somewhere in Spain. But the way I've managed and the way I've been able to do that is through the stocks and shares portfolios and realizing the capital gain. So realizing the profit, taking the profit out, and deploying it into a tangible asset, okay, which is property, but not only a tangible asset, it's a tangible asset that I get benefit from. I'm very house proud. I love my environment. Okay, office in the home, productive environment. I want to own something that's amazing, and it's the stocks and shares that have allowed me to do that. And then the holiday home in Spain is the stocks and shares that have allowed me to reach these goals. So when I know that it's like I meet someone, I'm like, you've got so much potential with what you're earning, because again, I've got online coaches that earn more than I do from my business income. Yeah. So I'm like, if I can do what I've done on my income, just imagine what you can do. Yeah. But the difference is you get to a point where you've got enough wealth, where the wealth now makes more money than I do from my business income, because the wealth can actually just work while you're sleeping.
Which is crazy,
and I can only work
it?
6-7 hours a day
and
these
you don't
days.
Have to
but the stocks and shares and the property portfolios and the rental yields, they can make you more money in the long run. And at that point, you then take a little thought about life and you go, I don't actually need to work. It's financial freedom. But it doesn't mean you give up work, because if you like what you do and you love what you do and you're passionate about what you do, I'd probably get depressed if I didn't work. What am I going to do every day? I'd just be bored. You know what I mean? So it's a good situation to be in. And, I've got full confidence with my client bank now. Like my clients, you guys are my future. The older clients are retiring and drawing the money out, but the younger clients, I'm going to be with you guys all the way through your working careers. I'm going to make sure that these goals that we've set out from the start are achieved. And then I might retire.
And I think it's
sign out, and we'll all get some yacht somewhere or something like that.
And celebrate, please.
Yeah, of course.
This podcast will be a testimony. But I was going to ask you as well. Like, obviously, you have a family, and like you're obviously thinking, and probably at that point now, with generational wealth, and you're thinking about like your little girls and where they're going to be. Yeah. Is that like that's what you're doing for them, me, or what? Like,
do you know what? Again, I don't want to give up work right now. I mean, I've got in another 15 years or so, maybe 20, who knows. I know everything I'm building now is generational wealth. And again, my background come from working class family, didn't have much when we were kids. I saw my parents struggle because they were young parents. And, as loving and caring as they were, I had to like fight my way through life and struggle at times as a teenager and in my early 20s. With my girls, 2 little beautiful girls,
gorgeous,
by the way, they're my actual life and world. I want them to have an easy life in life, but I want them to understand the value of money, and I want them to, be fully educated and be able to go and do what they want to do. And I'll fully financially support them so that they have jobs that they love, and it's a job that they care about and they're passionate about. And just give them a helping hand in life, like help them to kind of break that working class chain. Yeah. So that eventually, they'll inherit whatever I leave, which will be a substantial amount, but I can impact their life so they're a success of their life. And I'm sure they will have that mental strength to be a success anyway. But if daddy can help them and guide them and, give them that helping hand in life, then why not?
Exactly.
But obviously I'm trying to impact their life in a positive way. But I'm also trying to impact my clients' lives in a positive way. It's
a full circle thing. Yeah, you win, I win, they win.
Exactly.
It's like everyone is all in the bubble and in the cycle of that tree.
We're all winning together. And again, if you think about the way that my industry works, I work on something called assets under management. Yeah. So I get 1% of the assets under management. So the wealthier my client becomes, and the more profit we make the client, and the more they invest, and the more profits they make, and the wealthier they become, my 1% revenue increases as well. So believe it when I say this, we're all in it together, and I want to make you as wealthy as possible. One, because I know how life-changing that can be. Yeah. But on the selfish side of it, I get paid more money that way. So I'm not a charity organisation. I work to make money. But like I say, it's a good industry to be in. I'm enjoying what I do. I've made some awesome friendships within my client bank, and my clients aren't clients. My clients become friends. And it's just a good situation to be in.
Yeah, it's nice to know someone on a personal level as well, not just on like, well, this is the Google Meet, this is where you're putting your money and that's it. Because it's kind of like, right, I don't really know him. And that's where disconnection comes in. And I think like when we're talking about like your family down the line and like building that and having like, I don't even like to use the word generational trauma, generational cycles of like how the usual working class is and what way every single person in your family is like struggle,
People
all
struggle,
these
don't they?
hours, no money. And it's like, I have chosen and I'm already out of that's not the path I'm going. And I had like, I'm doing a lot of obviously deeper work, and like the money side of things come into it. And the one thing that stuck with me from today from the podcast is you said, it's just a number on your screen.
True. It is.
So why are we so attached to the money, and what I think people perceive of us with, well, if I have the G-Wagon outside and I'm driving around in Dubai, but you've no money in your account.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it, your money isn't doing anything for you except feeding your ego.
Do you know, during life, like you can be highly successful, you can be highly wealthy, but there's always going to be tough times and tough periods in life, such as grief, for example, or relationships breaking down.
Yeah.
You're always going to have a tough time, and there's always going to be stress. But don't let money be a stress.
Yeah.
If that's also that's one thing that is controllable, right? You can only control the controllables. You should never have money worries or money stresses if you learn to be disciplined and you live below your means. Unfortunately, again, maybe back home, UK, Ireland, there's a lot of people that struggle because high taxes and high cost of living. But if you can get into a position where, you can manage your money slightly better and you can just have a little bit of surplus income, at least you can kind of eradicate the money stress, because there'll be something else that you're going to be stressed about at some point down the line. And everything on top of each other in terms of mental well-being, it can get tough.
Yeah.
But if you can control the controllables and at least eradicate the money stress, you've always got that to bail you out. You've got having that sense of financial security and even the sense of financial freedom. I know I'm in control of being able to help family out and family members.
Yeah.
Should the shit hit the fan, again, health benefits, private insurance and all this type of stuff. It's just, it's a nice part of your life to have locked in.
Yeah, and to be free, I think it is like that. If something is going to go down or go all, like, you have to ride the wave regardless, but the financial side of things is always a thing that like suffocates people and they can't pull themselves naturally back out of it, or they're on loans after loans after loans. And if you have that behind you, they say money doesn't buy happiness, money buys freedom. Yeah,
it does. And it you know what, if you're extremely wealthy but you don't have friendships, you don't have relationships, you don't have children, you're not going to be happy, are you?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
The most important thing in life for me in terms of happiness is relationships, good relationships with your family, parents, brothers, siblings, kids, friends.
Yeah.
You've got good relationships, you're going to be happy. In terms of money and happiness, it can help you to enjoy life. It gives you options to enjoy life.
A different level of life as well.
Of course, yeah, which again does bring some happiness along there. In terms of like being wealthy, again, I think we had these conversations in the past. Health is the number one wealth.
Everything.
Yeah, without your health, no matter how much money you've got, if you're on your deathbed, you're gonna swap it for your health immediately. So
100%.
Number one priority is, again, all of my mantra now is health and wealth, health and wealth, health and wealth. And then feeding on from that in terms of happiness is the relationships and not the material things, but actually the memories that you can build, in terms of like what you do and how you live. And then secondary is if the wealth's there as well, then you can use the wealth to enjoy all of those different things. With
the people that you love as well, which is even better. Because it's like if you could be that one person that's like what you're doing right now, like what I think it's amazing that you're showing your journey, you show like what you can do, the house like in like where you bought it in Spain, and like even your house at home, like you're showing what it can do. And I think even putting a story up, people are like, right, he is the walking part of it. Yeah, and do you know what? Again, like I say, I live my life how I kind of like I say walk the walk. So again, one thing that people will have not known about me for a long time. Yeah. Up until recently, my car was a really, really average Jaguar. Okay, bought it in 2020. Okay, it was still a nice car, mid-range. Spent like 20k on it when I moved back to the UK. I sold it recently for 9k. So imagine that in the last 5 years, whilst I've been building a property, buying holiday homes, I think I've invested into 4 different properties in the last 5 years, paid into my pension every single month, built wealth, built a business, all of that duration driving a really average car.
Okay, so again, people on social media these days, what they do, they start coming into money. First thing they go and buy is a supercar and watches and, oh, look at me and blah, blah. But what's going on behind the scenes? Where's your assets? Where's your wealth? Now, if you've got the assets and the wealth and you're buying those cars, fair enough.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then you need to have a word with yourself, because you're more concerned about looking rich than actually building true wealth. And again, with me, okay, so quite recently, guilt-free purchase, bought myself a nice car because I felt like I deserved it, because I know I got all my ducks in a row.
Yes.
And even then, it was still easily affordable car. I didn't blow a big hole in the bank account, but I just thought I'll treat myself to a new car. But previously, driving a really mediocre car, I didn't care, because I'm like, I know I've got bigger life goals than who sees me in a fancy car.
I love that. Yeah, that's a big thing. Staying true to like yourself as well, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah, and you could have easily done that, but you're putting it into different things.
Exactly. This is what got me to where I am today. So why change? If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Exactly. I love that. Well, I love to finish the episode with something personal, or one of the questions that I have. I'm trying to think what would be the best way to kind of. You know what? Let's not go off any of the questions. Let's go free fall for the last one.
Go on then.
Because I know coaches will be the one people that will be looking, or any business owners in any industry. Where would be their best market to start? How much do they need to have? And where would you say go, first of all, for if they were to come to you?
So for me, I work with clients that are earning 10K or more. I'm talking pounds here, because if you're not earning that level of income, then you need to invest into yourself. Yeah, so it's not the fact that, like, if your business isn't making that, then you need to invest into new skills or a coach or a mentor to get you to that level. So you've got to invest in yourself, education maybe. Once you get to that level, emergency fund. Okay, first investment that everyone should do is just an investment account, stocks and shares, and money that's accessible. Yeah. Beyond that, start adding some property into your portfolio. Maybe it's a property that you live in. And again, I know owning a property that you live in ties you down a little. Maybe you want to move around, but if you decide to leave that country, you can just keep the asset and rent it out. It's no issue. So start with investing to yourself, get a good income coming through, good business, then start investing into traditional assets. I would always start with stocks and shares, investment account. And moving further down the line, then you can add other asset classes into your portfolio, such as property, such as commodities, real estate, fixed income. And again, if you're really, really risky, even drop a little bit of Bitcoin in there or crypto. I don't give advice on crypto. I don't even own any crypto or Bitcoin myself, but it's a volatile market. It's worth a little punt on it because of how the high returns are. But don't go anywhere near anything that's a meme coin.
Yes. Right. Okay. Yeah. Don't.
Just Fugazi.
Forget about it. All right. And the question, sorry for that, was how much in that investment account do they need to have ready to go? Like estimate for someone that's going to come and say, yeah, I'm ready to go in and I'm covered.
So for me, look, my minimums are 50K, and that's quite low in all honesty in wealth management. But you know what? It's like, if I see potential in someone, I'm always happy to have a conversation with them. I'm always happy even just to point people in the right direction. Okay, and say, do this, do your homework.
And come back.
Get to this level, then you can work with me. So again, I have a lot of meetings where I'll give free advice. I'll tell people what they need to do. They can go and do certain parts off their own back. As soon as they get to a certain element of wealth, so if they're earning 10K or more, they've got at least 50K they can invest. So if they've got 50K they can invest, maybe they need 70 or 80 or 90, but then we're going to invest 50. And then I'll take them on for wealth management because it warrants the need of wealth management. But before that, they can easily just set up an investment account, just track the S&P 500, invest every single month for whatever amount they feel comfortable.
Amazing. There you go. And I just want to say thank you from me, obviously, because we've been working together only a short period of time, like 2-3 years. But for me, how much I've learned as well along the way, and just a thank you from me, because I feel like I'm getting to a point where I know in like another 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the line, like I'll be at a point where I'll redo this again.
Yeah, we're heading in the right direction. And it's it's been an absolute pleasure anyway.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you. And I will leave Ryan's Instagram below. Any questions or anything like that, you can always pop them over a message. But I know you've definitely got a lot from this as well. And if there's anything that you want to ask, whether it's with myself, whether it's with Ryan, I'll leave the 2 links below the podcast. It would mean a lot as well to share, like, subscribe, make sure you're following Ryan's page. And I will catch you on the next one. But thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.